Okay, yeah, when you get to be 62, your edit button kind of doesn't work so well. So I'm going to tell you a story about a series of endings. So the first time I had a child, I got pregnant, I was 37 years old, and believe it or not, I was in my 4th year of medical school. Like, I'm a late bloomer. And, oh my God, that is the worst type of patient to have for an OB. Do you think you could culture my amniotic fluid? Because I think I got exposed to CMV while I was rotating on the pediatric service. And, you think this baby is big? Well, I read about this Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome. Do you think she, And so I had the baby, and then, of course, having the baby and being an intern, I'm like, she has a cold. Let me count her respirations per minute. Calling the pediatrician next door. I think she's at the stage where she has to be intubated. Anyway, okay, 3 years later, I was pregnant again. My OB looks me in the eye and she says, "Are we gonna do this all over again?" And I said, "That's over. This is a new chapter." And I said, this is gonna be, yes, that one has ended. This is gonna be the new Mary. And I was good until 30 weeks. And I had something called a placental abruption, which is really dangerous, really awful, and very scary. And so I go rushing into the hospital. I stabilize, baby stabilizes, and after a few days I say, well, maybe I can go home again. I have a 3-year-old at home. And they said, nah, you're here on bed rest, and you're gonna have a fetal monitoring twice a day, every 12 hours. Okay. That easy, calm pregnancy is gone, ended, over, And I'm lying in this hospital bed, and there's other women coming in with problems, because it's the maternity floor, and coming and going and coming and going. And yeah, sure enough, my placental abruption kind of healed, and then it unhealed one night. And so I'm in a stretcher, and we're rushing to the labor and delivery, and they say, we're gonna do this, what's called urgent. So there's something called regular, and then there's something called stat. And in between is urgent. So they say, we're gonna call this urgent, and we'll call in the people, and we'll do a spinal. And as we're getting in there, they said, the baby's becoming tachycardic, we're moved up to stat. And all of a sudden, like, the room is crazy, everybody's crazy. And hey, guess what? I'm a resident, I'm in with them. And they're saying, did she get typed and crossed for blood? And I'm like, I donated some yesterday. It's down there. Make sure you get it. And everybody, don't forget I'm strep B positive. And about this time, because they'd gone to urgent, and now I'm going to be intubated and be under anesthesia, this voice holding this mask and putting his fingers on my chin. And I know that, because I had to learn it in medical school, how you put the fingers on the chin to open everything up to intubate, is leaning over and saying, let go. So I took the big breath, and I let go. And I had a 32-weeker in the NICU. And so, okay, the relaxed pregnancy had ended. And then this idea that I wasn't gonna be counting the respirations every time she had a cold, out the window, totally over. And so after 2.5 weeks, I get her home. I get this letter from the state that says your child had an abnormal test value. I was living in Philadelphia. They do these tests on newborns to see if they have diseases, genetic diseases. And the only one I had ever seen in my life that had been positive as a medical student was a sickle cell anemia test. And all that's going through my brain is, they got her blood mixed up to somebody else. It's sickle cell anemia. They got her blood mixed up with somebody else. But it said, call the state. So I call the state, and it's like 3 days before Christmas. Oh, they're at a Christmas party. I said, well, give me their supervisor. I go up the ladder, and I'm finally like, well, what do I have to do? Call the governor? And so I finally called her hospital, and they said, well, if you don't have the result, we won't. And I just said, please check. So they said she had a low thyroid hormone level. Well, she was 21 days old, and I know that babies who are born who have thyroid problems, yes, because I know all these things, at 1 month are cretins. as in their brain has not developed and they are never able to function in life. And I'm thinking, she's already 21 days old. And so I go to get her tested, and her thyroid level has come back up. But what happens is the New England Journal of Medicine puts out an article next week that says, preemie babies who have low thyroid hormone at birth and recover have learning problems and disabilities and a higher chance of having cerebral palsy. Okay, did I tell you that little toddlerhood that I thought was going to be different? Was not different. Okay, so I bring in Easter seals to evaluate her and do all this stuff, and I'm thinking, it's not just that the dream pregnancy left, and it's not just that the dream toddlerhood left. It's my baby. But there is another ending to this story. 1 month ago, my 32-weeker, my baby, graduated from the Colorado School of Mines with a degree in mechanical engineering.